All right, guys. So this happened the other day at work, okay? So this girl is talking to this guy at work. Okay, well, this girl is talking to somebody. He came by work, okay? And he came by with flowers, right? Flowers in the little bag you can buy them in, right? At Walmart or H-E-B, wherever he got them from, right? And he came back and gave it to him, and she's like, oh, thank you, right? She goes to the back, and this other guy goes up to her, and he's like, really? That's how he brought it to you? And she's like, what do you mean? He goes, he didn't bring a vase. He didn't bring any water. He didn't bring any of that. He just brought you, like, what does he expect you to do for your next 8 hours on your shift, right? And then everyone tuned in. They're like, yeah, why would he do that? You got to think, you're a man. You got to think about, if you're trying to impress this girl, you got to think about everything and show her that you're like, you know about everything. You're not a little boy anymore. And like that, kind of, I was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either.
I probably would have just brought the flowers in the bag.
Yep.
So everybody was sitting there thinking like, man, like this is a hint and like, this is a deal breaker right here. Like guy is not the one, right? So do you guys have something that somebody does that is a deal breaker?
Okay. I think that it's very important for somebody to admire God as much as I do. Like, at least I couldn't be with somebody that doesn't believe in God. So I think that's one of the deal breakers, that if they didn't, I just don't think I could be with somebody that didn't. That'd be my thing.
That's crazy because we had this discussion the other day driving. We were driving around and we were asking each other the same thing. And I'm with that too. Like, I don't think, like, there's no way I'd be able to do that either. Like, that's something that's, means a lot to me. And to have someone who doesn't have those same beliefs is something that, like, I wouldn't be able to get over.
Yeah, I think once you get older, you're kind of set in your ways. So trying to get that person to believe in a God is going to be very hard.
Well, I think you made a good point that there's a lot of milestones in a relationship that would require that conversation about religion, and it then creates an issue, an unnecessary issue, basically. How are you going to raise the kids? Are they going to be able to do these things that my religion requires, stuff like that? So I can definitely see it. And for me too, it'd be tough. I go back and forth on it because, like, I hate to be like, no, I'm sorry, you're not religious, I can't date you. But I also feel like my mom would be really upset with me. My mom would be really upset. My mom would be really upset with me. She'd be like, well, we're going to baptize. And I'd be like, well, we can't. Like, like stuff like that would be tough.
Faith is a huge one. I probably would, if you're not into God as much as I am when we first start dating, I probably would give you a chance and, like, invite you to church and that kind of thing. And then if you just, if you're not trying to go to church and you're not into God, no, you got to go. That's not going to work at all. That's going to be a huge fight down the line.
Yes.
But I think after that, for me, is I don't have kids. But if I get with a guy that has kids and he doesn't take care of his kids, oh, no.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's where it can't work out. I'm so sorry. But, nah. I pass.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never heard anybody brought up that, but that kind of would show how of a man he would be possibly to your future kids. Right. So, yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. Mine's not as deep. I'm about to say mine. I'm like, oh man, y'all had really good ones. Mine's like, mine is not playing video games. I'm just kidding. But mine's smoking. I can't handle someone who smokes cigarettes. I can't. It's that I don't like the smell. I don't like. I wouldn't be able to do that every day, and it's kind of be around that. That's hard. That would be a hard one for me.
I have asthma. I would die.
We finally found one that the deal breaker for him. He's like, I have religion, kids, smoking, no.
It'd be tough.
My deal breaker would be about kids, not having kids, because I definitely do want kids as I get older.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
I've been me and my family. Well, of course, we've been around babies, but, like, I've always been around, and my sister was a nanny kind of sort. She would go babysit, so I'm always around kids, and, I love kids. I'm a teacher, obviously, so I'm around that, and I eventually do want my own kids. I don't even care if it's adopting, like, I'll adopt a kid, she had her own kid, I would take him as my own, be Papa Davis Locke.
Already nicknamed himself.
I know. I already nicknamed him.
I was like, what?
Fine, she can call me Dad. But definitely, I definitely
Your rap
do.
name?
No, a deal breaker would be kids. About having kids.
So with your guys is you all have one that's would obviously have to come into conversation, right? Like mine is I would know if you're a smoker.
Yeah, you would know
almost immediately.
prior.
How late in y'all's your dating do you bring these conversations up? Like with if he has kids, how do you go about asking him? How he is as a father. With the religion, how long is it taking for you to kind of bring these points up?
I feel like in a week's time, that comes up.
Wow.
Those are pretty big things.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yanni.
No, when you first start talking to someone, you say, "Hey, do you have kids?" And they say yes or no. And they say yes. Okay, how many? And then he should kind of go into it from there. And if not, then you guys can hang out or talk. And you kind of can tell if he never has his kids. You'd be like, okay, so where are your kids?
But in a week, can you figure that out?
No, not a week. I would say in a month you should be able to figure it out for sure.
I can see a month.
Like after a few dates or whatnot.
Yeah, like come on now. If you keep talking to you, I don't never hear no kids and hear nothing about you picking up your kids, and your kids are in the same city. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Negative.
Mesa Lou, what are some of your deal breakers here?
Pass. Oh man. I would probably say one of the ones because most people here know that family is extremely important to me, and when someone can't get along with my family, that's huge. My family's been there for me through everything, ups and downs, and for someone that I'm supposed to be with the rest of my life and supposed to love and marry, if they can't get along with my family, that's a pretty big deal breaker.
That would be super hard. 'Cause I'm with you. Like my family, means a lot to me too. And for, if that click doesn't happen, especially because I feel like my mom is so easygoing. My mom is so easygoing. She's all fun. My dad too. And if you can't get along with them, like you're not gonna get along with me. Mesa says all the time, like the spitting image of my parents. Right?
You are, buddy.
You are.
Both of them.
You're like half and half.
Yeah,
Like-
he's like, man, the other day we went to go eat dinner. Your dad laughs just like you.
No, I figured that out when I went to your parents' house for the first time. I heard a laugh from the living room, and I was like, "Where's Patrick? He's not that. No, that wasn't Patrick. That was his dad."
So yeah, no, that would be hard. That would definitely be a tough one.
I actually got married young, and everyone around me was trying to tell me stuff, but I did not listen. But now, divorced and looking to get into another relationship, there's things now when people tell me stuff, I actually like, okay, take heed to it and kind of listen. And then also I know now the importance of seeing those red flags, like not ignoring them. I think that's a huge part as well.
And you already know, same exact thing. Got married really young. Ignored the red flags. Tunnel vision all the way. It is a lot of the age, and people were telling me I probably wasn't listening at all. But I had a lot of support too. They were like, okay, yeah, because he was joining the military at that point. So I was like, oh, we're going to go off and be together. So yeah, I think maturity has a lot to do with it. And I definitely ignored the red flags. So age is very, very important, and maturity.
I think maturity more than age. 'Cause I think there's even adults that aren't mature that definitely still have that tunnel vision and won't listen and won't pay attention to signs and stuff like that. So,
you always hear, we're talking about the red flags here. You always hear, women tend to bring that up a lot, right? Like, you got to pay attention to the red flags. Do you think us guys pay attention to like red flags, or do you think we kind of blow ed flags under the
don't
rug
pay-
a lot more than
I don't
women
think
do?
we pay as much attention to red flags. I think we notice stuff and we're like, well, let it go.
I think so too. I think like women are really good at that when it comes to that. You're keeping it in the back of your piggy bank, and you're like, okay, hold on, what's this kind of truly saying? I think guys that don't really even see that as red flags, and they're like, ah. And what's crazy is, we talk about support systems. I feel like that's hard too. Like if you're on the other side of it and you kind of see somebody going through a relationship you don't 100% agree with, how that's brought up, right? Because you don't want to ruin your relationship with that person. So you're kind of hesitant on bringing it up because you don't want to be that person that's like, oh, hey, you're just mad because, X, Y, and Z. So that's kind of interesting too. What if you're seeing somebody what you think is in a bad relationship? Do you step up and do you say something?
It just depends on how close I am with that person, but I definitely do. But you kind of have to start that conversation off very, very gently and with love, and then just realize that the person that you're talking to may not actually listen to what you're saying. Like all you can do is just say, "Hey, I noticed X, Y, and Z. I don't know if homeboy gonna work out for you." I mean, after that, they grown. It's on them.
Yeah, I think I agree more with the second part. I think you kind of give, hey, look, this is what I think of it, and you do with that information as you feel fit.
Right.
I think if my friend came and asked me, so what do you think of this person? How do you think everything's going on? So I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy, and I tell you how I feel. It doesn't to me if you're a coworker or a friend. I've seen you more than once hanging out with that person. I'll give you my honest opinion.
And I'm gonna be honest that I've been through way too many things in my life now that I'm never gonna be honest with anybody when it comes to that. Like, she's awesome, bro. Marry her. Good luck.
Oh dang.
I think it's because I've just seen so many like fights stem from that I don't know if I'd ever do that again. Like I'm gonna be completely like, yeah, she's great, and I guess that's just what it is, you know. That I'm a little bit different because I've been scarred. What about you, Nate? Would you say anything?
I feel like I probably would, but not harshly. And then, oh, I have been in that situation. I did say something, and I don't approve of the person that they're with at all. So I just basically said, I won't be around, and it has kind of put a strain on it. But it is what it is because I just can't accept the way he is.
You know, going back to another deal breaker. What about having common things? Because we've kind of talked about if you're talking to a girl and y'all don't have a lot in common, is that a deal breaker for you, Masalu?
I don't think it's so much a deal breaker because you can eventually, create things that you have in common, right? You can mutually agree on certain things, but I think it's definitely an obstacle you have to overcome initially when you first get into a relationship or you first start talking to somebody, because a lot of times it'll feel like you don't have that connection. You don't have those things to talk about and to bond over because you don't have anything in common. And the whole opposites attract, we've talked about that before, where it feels almost like a battle more than it feels like you can just agree on something. So I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I think it's something you definitely have to overcome.
Yeah. I don't think it's a deal breaker too, and obviously you can learn some new stuff from that other person. Trying new things. They might be into this, and it's like, oh, let's go try it out or whatever. So that could be a good thing. But yeah, it would be harder, like you said, Mace. It would be a lot harder. Especially, do you think it'd be different with like an age difference? Like
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I've gotten older, and I feel like I feel like I am old, and I feel like whenever someone shows me other stuff, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't understand why you like that.
You are very much like that. You have the mentality like a 70-year-old.
I do.
Like,
I really do.
Right.
It's something I'm like saying that's not right. I don't see the reasoning. I'm like, why do you like that? Like, what is that? I don't. Yes, I do have an old man mentality. 100%.
I think when it comes to like, because I've dated girls, and we talked about this when we talked about the worst dates, right? I've been on a date with a girl. We would text, and we had a lot in common. Then we got in person, and we just never really clicked. So I think that's what it really comes down to. Like, you can click with someone that we don't have a lot in common with, and that makes it just because you can learn, like, so much more about something that you may have not been interested in, and it's kind of brought you to that. For example, like, I've talked about how, like, I'm not a big, like, go out. Like, I'm not like, hey, let's go dancing, let's go to the bars. And this is kind of stemming away from, like, relationships, but kind of towards friendships. Like, we'd all hang out, like, we'd go out, right? We'd go on the weekends, go out on the bars, and, like, that's not my thing, but it's one of those things where, like, I know I'm going to have fun with the people around me, and I know I click with them, so I'm willing to kind of go with it. Even bowling, right? How many times? I hate bowling, and we go bowling all the time. No,
and we
all
always
the time.
have fun.
Exaggeration, yeah, but yeah, we have fun. So it's kind of one of those things where we'd have to click. Like, that would be the thing, and the deal breaker for me is like we don't click, right? Because I feel like from the get go, even if things are kind of awkward, because you may not have a lot in common, but we don't click, and that conversation is just not kind of flowing. I can't make it because I feel like I get awkward when things are awkward, and then it's just kind of weird, and there's awkward silence, and then it's like,
Well, that's why I feel like sometimes the not having things in common can be tough, because maybe something you're passionate about and something that you like, when you tell somebody and they're just like, I don't get it. Like, then you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, now stuff that you're interested in, you like, you don't want to bring out as much because you're like, they don't like the same stuff I like. So I can, like, I get what you're talking about, where it can be exciting to learn stuff about people, where some people aren't quite as open about learning about stuff like that.
I think the girl has to be like open-minded,
True.
and like curious and asking more questions. And even though she's like not that into it, as long as she's like open to learn about it, then it'll go smoothly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Open-minded is the key, really, at the end of the day. Because, I mean, if he's trying to teach you something and you're just not for it, that's a done deal.
How many times have you women, like, you women?
You women?
How many times have you women?
That was a Devin approach.
You women? I meant like because there's two women in here. How many times have you gals? How many times have the girls in this room?
There you go.
Sorry, like been on relationships, and you're kind of just faking the like you said, like he's trying to teach you something that
You're
you
not
have
quite
no
interested
idea
in.
what the heck he's talking about, and you're kind of just sitting there in the conversation, and you're like, yeah, that's funny. Like how often does that? And that's like curiosity coming from a man, right? Because
Right.
we've been on relationships, and you're trying to make her laugh. And how often do you think like the fake laughs and the fake continued conversation happens?
For me personally, not that often, because I'm into, like, if I'm with a guy and he's trying to teach me something, I'm always willing to like learn and see what it is. So for me, but I'm sure there's plenty of females that do it. Because some guys, your jokes and stuff don't always be good. And sometimes y'all be going into way too many details. We don't want to know all that. Especially when it's cars. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I would try to listen. I'd be like, okay, yeah, so it just depends.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there are some things like she said, like I'm willing to learn about it and then ask more about it. And I like certain things, like certain male things that are, I think, like football. Like I like football a lot.
Yeah, me too.
There's certain things that I do like that are more like for males. But like I like to play games, but I don't really like to play them like for too long. And whenever y'all get really into detail, like I don't know what you're talking about. Or sometimes they get very into sports and they like, no, this name, and all these stats, and I'm like, what's going on? I get very quiet. But I'm not gonna be like rude and just like not try to be in the conversation. But I'm just like there. I'm letting y'all do y'all's thing, and so you just have to be open to it. But sometimes it is, and sometimes you'll be like, "Why are you laughing?" Well, it's 'cause I'm not that was funny.
So funny. Why are you not laughing?
Yeah, it's kind of like.
So Nate brought up a good point when we were coming over here, right? So we were going to pick up Mexaloo, and me and Devin had the car radio blasting, and we were singing like, "Whoa, huh, good God, yeah, what is it good for?" Right? And Nate brought up like, man, if you're on a first date, you don't show your full weirdness.
No.
Right?
No.
What do you think about that, Yanni? If you're in the car with a guy and he starts singing, and he's is there such a thing as being too comfortable on the first date?
No. Because I mean, you're on a date to learn the person, so I don't think so. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm me no matter what, where I go, first date, second date, third date, I'm just me. So I mean, I probably bust out something singing with you.
And see, I think Yanni's more social and I'm more shy. So for me, I'd be awkward because I'm like, oh my God, am I supposed to dance with him or like sing with him? I'm very
I
shy
can
in
see
the
that.
beginning. So for me, it would be awkward because I'm shy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I dance with him? Am I quiet? Like, what do I do? Like, so for me, but she's very outgoing, very, more happy, like outgoing and more comfortable quickly. And so it would be different for me.
What do you think, Mexaloo? When I first said it, you gave me the weirdest look ever.
No, you're definitely not gonna get my full weird immediately. Nope, I'm not gonna run you off immediately. No, I'm gonna give you my best foot forward. You're gonna get the best of me at first. I might even show up in a suit.
Best of me at first. It's all down here from here, baby.
Oh, it's only gonna get worse. If you're happy now, be prepared to be terribly, terribly sad. Oh, not kidding. But no, you're not gonna get my full weird. Yeah.
So, this is the Patrick School of Dating. I'm just kidding. Whenever I've kind of figured out, this has kind of been my strategy in dates. No, I'm just kidding. So I feel like when you're with someone who's not so social, they're kind of balancing their energy off of your energy. I don't think they match you 100%. Like I was telling Devin, I was like, if you're awkward and kind of relaxed, the person who's kind of balancing the energy is going to be super awkward. If you're kind of normal, they're still going to be kind of timid. But if you kind of step your level up and you're bringing the energy and you're kind of fun, you're going to possibly bring that out of them as well. So that's why I think, like, yeah, your first date, you're going to get, pretty weird me, right? Like, hey, I'm going to be energy because, like, that's how I am. Like, I'm full of energy. And
Yeah.
It's either you're going to match it and we're going to have fun, or I just probably not going to work with us. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and I think one of those things, like, this is one of those things that there's not a right or wrong answer for this. Like, there's really not, because it's all about people. Like Nate just said, If you're going crazy and you're dancing in the car with me, I don't know how to react to that. So you might just run me off
Yeah,
at that
maybe.
point. And I'm the kind of guy where I'm pretty chill for at the beginning, and it takes me a while to get comfortable with people. And if this girl is a little wild immediately, you might start to run me off a little. Where I'm like, I don't know if I can match that sometimes. So I can see it.
Do you bring your girlfriend or boyfriend around your friend that may be way too hyper at the very beginning?
No,
like it's like one
never.
of y'all's first dates.
I never bring him around you, Patrick. So
That was
no,
mean.
I'm just kidding, buddy.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't know if you know or not, but I have brought many girls around you.
Maybe.
Devin, Naomi, and Patrick. Yanni, not so much. we just met. But these 3 people in the room with me have met very, very many females. So so you can't say that I don't bring girls around you,
He
buddy.
does bring girls around me. And I always got to be like, do I have to be calm? Or how's this going to go? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm going to run them off for him. Like, they're like, your best friend is way too out there. I'm sorry. We can't do this anymore.
And if that's the case, you ran off one that wasn't the one, buddy.
I think that you bring out like a different vibe from me and Devin, because me and Devin are more like a little bit calmer, and so when we're around you, like he turns into a completely different person. Devin,
Right here.
he turns into a completely different
Devin over
person.
here.
Like he
Devin
like
over
start
here.
singing with you, and he starts dancing with you, and then y'all start doing all these things. So you bring it out of us. Now we're very comfortable, so we're like very weird around you. But in the beginning,
Yanni's like, I do not know this Naomi.
Just taking it all in.
because he brings it out of me, Yanni. He makes me crazy. He's like, yeah, it's a lot of fun though, a lot of laughing.
I mean, singing's just great in the car. We're just singing in the car. We're just jamming.
Car karaoke is always good.
Thank you. It is the greatest.
We're starting a new YouTube show. We're gonna just put it right there. We're just
Car
start singing.
karaoke
Yeah.
featuring Patrick, Naomi, David, Mesa, and Yanni.
Hold on, Mesa Lou.
Oh, yeah, Mesa Lou. Sorry.
Not a thing.